Hello, Warrior. Once again, thank you for joining me in my email this week. This week, I'm actually going to talk about why you need a coach. I'm actually participating in a networking group, and it was my opportunity to present this week. And I thought, I've been wanting to do a video around this. Why don't I just use my same presentation? So you get to see my presentation now. I'm so excited for you. You're going to love it. So let's dive right into why you need a coach. So once again, Warrior, thank you so much for subscribing to my email. I am Lawrence Stone, and I am the basic trainer, and I do want to establish a rhythm to your vision. It's very important to me that I do that. And that's why I went into this to be a coach and a mentor, is because people have things they want to accomplish, and sometimes they just kind of get stuck and they need someone to help them out. And that's where I want to be. So with that, this presentation, like I said, I just gave it to a networking group of mine, and you get to see it now too. So just quick off, I've talked a little about myself and my family, my wife, my kids. We have two dogs, Ginger and Cinnamon. Cinnamon's the German Shepherd and definitely thinks she's a lap dog. It's a problem for my wife whenever she wants to sit on the floor. I've mentioned my wife was in an accident 11 years ago and we had a daughter pass away. That's our daughter, Ethne. And then about 5 years ago, we had a stillbirth as well, Thomas. And then I've also mentioned that I play music. I studied music in college. These are pictures of me actually back when I was in college playing music and studying music. This one right here with me on the acoustic bass was from a concert that they actually used for screensavers and even posters and whatnot for different events on the campus. And I got my wife's cousins went to the same school, some of them, and they, up to 8 years after I graduated, I heard reports of this still being on the screensavers. But anyways, moving forward, we'll get into the heart of the presentation. While I went into coaching 15 years ago, I was studying in college and I was studying music, and I was minoring in accounting. And I love music, and I discovered I had a talent for music. I don't consider myself an overly talented person, but there's two things I really think I'm talented at. One is music, and the other is teaching. And I learned in college. I took advantage of opportunities to mentor people, to teach people, to speak in front of people, and I loved it, every minute of it, and I felt good with it, and it really felt like a talent to me. And even being able, people give me a subject, and I could create a course and a curriculum for it. I worked for the financial aid department for a while. They needed someone to teach a course on personal finance and budgeting, and they didn't have a course. So they hired me. They said, go ahead and create the course. I created the course. At the end of the semester, it just wasn't paying me enough, so I needed to walk away. And they came back to me and said, okay, we understand. Can you give us your course? Because we want to use it. And they said they're going to make some modifications to it. But for the most part, they used my course that I had created as the foundation for the courses they were going to use moving forward. But also in college while I was there, I was, like I said, I was studying music, minoring in accounting, and I just started reading books, which was interesting because I wasn't even really good at reading my textbooks. But I started reading books that interested me in personal finance, entrepreneurship, business development, talent development. All of these things interest me. I've always loved biographies. I love reading about successful people who have done things that I want to do and what they did to get there. And so that's part of why I'm a coach, is because I've studied what successful people do. I've learned patterns and characteristics and traits, and I want to be able to teach them to other people to help you become successful. I want to teach them to you so you can become successful as well. Excuse me. So who says you need a coach? Coaches are important. So Damon John from Shark Tank, founder of Fubu, wildly successful person, a great inspiration. When I was sitting down to write this, I follow him on Facebook, and I saw he had just posted 6 habits of successful people. That's what number 6 is. They have mentors. And a lot of people will look at Damon John or Oprah Winfrey and say, well, yeah, they're wealthy people. They can afford to hire mentors. The reason why they became successful and have become wealthy is because they hired mentors when they couldn't afford it. Okay. And even I typed it in chat GTP, in AI, just to say, hey, do billionaires still hire mentors? And this is what they came back with. And they said, yeah, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett talk about hiring mentors all the time. And it says, they do that because they recognize the benefit that coaching can provide, including accountability, perspective, and the opportunity to improve themselves and their businesses. And here's the thing you need to understand is, again, I study the patterns of successful people. When I decided to do this business, I started interviewing other coaches and mentors who built the business that I want to arrive at. Every single one of them, without exception, said to me, my business was just kind of so-so or kind of floundering. It never took off until I hired my own coach. These were coaches who had a coaching business who went out and hired other coaches to help their coaching business become more successful. I'm letting you know that as someone who's starting off a new business and can't afford a whole lot, I'm affording a mentor because I have learned from other people who were in my position struggling to get their business started. And again, my business is still new. They hired mentors. So, but rather than wait a year or two like they did, I'm learning from what they're telling me right up front, and I'm using that. And I participate in mentoring groups, and I have a one-on-one mentor that I work with as well, because that is how my business will be successful, is by learning how to build a successful business. And then it's educating me in a lot of other things that I can then pass on to my clients as well, because it's just this wealth of knowledge. I'm learning from multiple groups, bringing it together into one person. So you can come to me and you can learn from all those multiple groups from just one person. Okay. Now, what about mentoring programs for your business? When I was researching for this business, I came across a study that was done about businesses who offer mentoring programs, and maybe it's internal mentoring programs or external mentoring programs. The fact of the matter is they have some sort of mentoring program for their employees, and I offer coachings for businesses, and I can come in and I can do mentoring programs and coaching programs for your employees as well. But again, you look at the patterns and the habits of successful people or successful companies that are where you want to be. Fortune 500 companies almost overwhelmingly hire or have mentoring programs for their employees. 100% of Fortune 50 companies have it. Mentored employees are more likely to retain their job. They're more likely to have a better quality of life with their job. They're more likely to be more satisfied with their job. And the fact of the matter is your business is going to move forward when you have these things from your employees. So if you have a company where you're dealing with turnover, or you have a company where your employees just seem very unsatisfied with their job, very unfulfilled, you need to implement a mentoring program. And if you have a mentoring program, you need to redo that mentoring program because it's clearly not working. Okay. So for multiple courses, so this guy down here, this picture is Kirk Duncan from 3 Key Elements. I mentioned that a friend was doing a webinar a while back last year, and he said, you need to start your coaching business. Maybe I forgot to tell that story. But that's kind of what happened. Is over 15 years, I'd taken jobs, and I tried to look for opportunities to coach and mentor people and do different things, and I helped my dad with his business. And I, brought his sales up 11 times from what it was his first year to his second year. And I loved working on cars with my dad, but I wanted to do something different. And so I was really debating, what am I going to do next? And I attended a webinar that Kirk was teaching. And he said, you need to start a coaching business. Now, I wasn't speaking just to me, but it really resonated with me. And it felt like he was just speaking to me. And I was like, yeah, Kirk, I do need to do this. Well, I met Kirk back in 2011. We went to church together and we volunteered together coincidentally, like it wasn't planned. It just happened to be we were volunteering at the same time at this place. And I got to know him really well. And he told me what he did, and I felt so inspired. And the thing about Kirk is he never went to college, and he hadn't written a book before he started his business. Like, he wasn't the successful person before he started his business that I thought you needed to be before you could become a mentor or a coach. And he's gone out and he's just put in the work, and he's turned it into a 7-figure business. And he helps a lot of people. He hires people, and he mentors people all over the world. He's one of those people that I wanted to know his story and want to follow his pattern to be successful. But with that, I signed up for his Coach Fast Track program, which gives me a license for his Essentials of Self-Mastery class. I just realized I didn't spell mastery right. But the way I can describe it to people is you go from giving up on your goals to regularly accomplishing them. It's just what it says. It's self-mastery. You are learning to be the master of your life rather than life happening to you. You're going out and making things happen. And it's core principles that I teach and I customize based on what it is you're trying to work towards and what it is that you want to build. Like I said, it was developed by Kurt. He gets the credit for this class, but this is my foundational class. Whenever someone comes to me, this is the class I'm going to recommend. Not 100% of the time, but most of the time, in most cases, in most scenarios. I'm going to recommend starting with this class so we can build a foundation. And then when you want coaching from me further down the road, you're going to find that I'm calling back to parts of these principles, and it's going to give you a better understanding of what I'm coaching you on and how I'm helping you out. I've talked about this before. I'm also part of the John Maxwell team. I'm getting work on their curriculums. I'm licensed with their curriculums. I'm going through the certification process, and I can teach the materials right now. I love these materials. If you know anything about John Maxwell, you have to love John Maxwell. He's the leadership guru. He's the development growth guru. These are the books that I can teach out of, and the courses and the curriculums I can teach out of. You may have seen my big focus right now is on the 15 invaluable laws of growth. I'm doing masterminds on it. I'm willing to come in and teach businesses, do coachings for businesses around this one or around the essentials of self-mastery. But I'm doing a big focus on this. And then in a few months, I'll start moving on to Everyone Communicates, Few Connect until eventually I get through all of these courses. But I want to know them really well so I can make them as effective as possible as I'm teaching people about them. So I'm spending a few months of the time focusing coachings and masterminds around each book. As I've gone through the course, someone on the Maxwell team said that there was someone who would take a year on each book and making sure they understand it. So I feel it's important to spend at least a few months on each book to make sure I dive in. And I'll never leave the books behind. I'll constantly be learning, right? But I'm excited to be able to use John Maxwell and his resources and his team to be able to offer more trainings on communication, on growth, and on leadership and all these things. Then next, I have a few of my own courses. So the What Do I Do With My Life course is my big inspiration. That's the one that I really wanted to focus on and do a lot with. And this is kind of designed for that young adult who one day woke up and they said, I'm turning into an adult and I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life or where I want to go. I want to help you figure out where you want to go, and I want to help you come up with a plan to get there. And there's actually two parts of this course. The first part is the part that I've come up with in helping you figure out the plan, helping you figure out what you want to do with your life. And then the second half is using the essentials of self-mastery, again, to make sure you can get there. And I teach you these skills because a lot of young people at some point are going to change their mind. But these skills are transferable, so I want to make sure that they have these skills. Then a starting your business class. And this is just getting you down to the basics, learning how to register the name of your business, getting a tax ID number, getting started, building a business plan, all these basic things that a lot of times people won't start their business because they're scared of doing these things. And kind of the hope is I will get some of these young people who are trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. And from there, some of them will want to start a business, and I can just transition them right into the next class and starting their business. And then I also offer month-to-month coaching, just customized curriculum, whatever you or your business needs work with. I can come up with curriculums and we can do trainings and coachings around them. Again, the month-to-month coaching is more beneficial if you've gone through the Essentials of Self-Mastery courses first. What I'm working on next, you'll be able to watch out for, is I'm working on a DISC certification. I should be done with that in the next couple of weeks. This is also going to be through John Maxwell DISC method. But this is great if you have employees that you're struggling with being able to communicate with and connect with. Brian Magelme, who runs the Idaho Innovation Center, where I currently have office space, rants and raves about this program, about how it helped elevate his ability to communicate with his team. But you can find a lot of people have used a DISC program to help build their teams, and it's a fantastic program, and I'm excited to be able to announce that in the next couple of weeks. And then also one of the book ideas, I'm starting to compile information. I want to write a book. I think I am smart enough to write a book all of a sudden. It's interesting because I've been meditating on this topic for a long time, and I'm thinking about this topic, and I've even been doing some research, and now it's time to start putting it down. And it's around job creation and the importance of having a job, creating jobs and hiring people. And so as I'm doing research for that and going through that, you'll also find me come up with a hiring employees curriculum, because I believe that job creation is just one of the most important things we can do in this world. It really is. So different things that I offer. Obviously, if you're seeing this email, hopefully that means you're subscribed to my email, or you're following me on YouTube. You can also set up a free discovery appointment. I know I've talked about this and posted this out on my emails and on my social media and whatnot. You can use that QR code to get to my Google Calendar where you can schedule a free discovery appointment. They're typically online, but if you wanted to meet in person, you're more than welcome to. Or if you wanted to set up a free training for your business, schedule the appointment, and then there's a box in there that says if you want to meet in person, you can even just put at business, and I'll reach out to you and we will iron out the details of what it is you want me to come and coach your team on. Then I've talked about my mastermind classes. So right here at the Auto Innovation Center, I'll do a mastermind class in person the first Thursday of each month from 9:30 to 11 a.m. And then we'll do it online the second Thursday of each month. Basically what it is I'm doing the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, and there's 8 mastermind classes that I want to do with that book. The first one is free, and it'll be held the first and second Thursday of each month, whether you want to come in person or online. And then the other 7, if you want to sign up for, I'll take no more than 10 people in each class. I'm shooting, minimum will be 2 people, but preferably 5 to 10 people is what I'm shooting for in each class. And each month I'll start another class. 2 classes potentially, 1 in person and 1 online, and we'll keep having these mastermind groups that are talking about growth and building growth plans and talking to each other and sharing ideas on growth. If you've never attended a mastermind class, they're fantastic. There's a lot. It's a great way to grow and learn from a group of like-minded business individuals. If you have a business category or power team that you want to work with and do a special mastermind course with just your power team, you can also reach out to me and we can work on setting something up for that as well. Again, with any of those John Maxwell curriculums are the primary ones that I do, but I can do a mastermind on another topic as well. Or we can even set up mastermind courses that have different topics each week. I can work with you on that. That's not a problem. So with that, hopefully I've been able to lay out the reasons why it's important to hire a coach or a mentor. It's literally a pattern that successful people use. And they use it because they want to become better. They know that they need help overcoming obstacles and roadblocks, and that there's things that they're just not seeing that they need someone else to help them see, and that there's someone that they need to hold themselves accountable to. And the fact of the matter is when you're putting in some money for someone to hold you accountable to something, you're more likely to achieve it. You're going to work harder for it. People who pay for gym memberships are more likely to go to the gym when they know it's a stretch and it's tough for them to put in that gym membership. So they're going to work harder to get there. Okay. It's important to have these things. And I would love to help you. I'd love to coach you. I'd love to mentor you. And that is the message I want to share with you today. So my challenge for you, find a coach or find a mentor. Obviously, I would love for it to be me. That's why I'm sending out these emails and these messages. Hopefully you're connecting with these and you want me to be your coach as well. And if you do, you saw the scan code in my presentation, go back to it. And I'll even include the links in the email. And when I post it on YouTube, I'll put it on YouTube as well. But schedule a discovery appointment with me. See if I'm a good fit for you. See if I can prove to you that I can help you. And if I can't, but I know someone else who can, I can refer you over to someone else as well. But I genuinely want to help you establish a rhythm to your vision. That's what I do as a coach. I love learning and I love sharing that knowledge with you. So please come take advantage of it. It's going to help you. It's really going to help you establish that rhythm to your vision, and it's going to be amazing. Just watch what happens.